Hello and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup here on GameShow_D2EN. This is going to be game number 2 between E-Wolves and Void Boys. Game number 1, a pretty convincing lead for E-Wolves was made in the second half of that game off the back of arrows and arrows and a couple more arrows. Oh my goodness, that Mirana Ember Spirit combo was a lot of fun to watch. Void Boys, halfway through that game, it looked like Snaking might have just been able to snowball it through victory, but the Queen of Pain wasn't able to do it alone. There was always something missing. There was never that initiation for Void Boys. The Spirit Breaker was generally stopped in his jumps. The line was never able to get the farm for the blink, excuse me. And really, the Juggernaut pick kind of fell flat for Void Boys. I don't think they have to adjust too much going to this game, but definitely consider banning out Ember Spirit. Now, if they don't, E-Wolves might just verse pick it. It's just so good for their team and something that they're very comfortable playing with and around. And it's going to make Void Boys really have to think hard about this pick. If they ban out the Ember, that leaves stuff like Tusk in the pool, Winter Wyvern, although I didn't see that in game number 1 would be available. There's just so many options that Void Boys don't want to play against. We'll have to see. Right now, it's already set in stone. E-Wolves are the first team in their group. Void Boys are the second team in their group, both of which will qualify for the playoffs to be decided at a later date when those are going to be played. But now, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what this next ban from Void Boys is. And they'll ban out the Slardar. Not a bad ban by any means. Slardar is so very popular right now. And I think the Darkseer also was one of the big issues for the side of Void Boys in game number 1. E-Wolves, with that Darkseer, got very early. Blink mechanism level 11. At like 18 minutes, he had everything he needed to contribute. Although a lot of the focus on that game was on the Moran and the Ember Spirit, all of the supporting cast for E-Wolves kind of fell into place, and not so much for Void Boys. There was definitely a little bit of a disconnect. They tried for these aggressive rotations. They tried so hard to be able to find those kills going the way with the Orchid. But E-Wolves were always so grouped up. Whenever they tried to find initiation, it ended up going down. And we saw last game also early buybacks, incredibly aggressive style of play, and maybe we'll see that again. Now E-Wolves, gonna step back, think about this next pick for themselves. It's always interesting to look at the draft of the second game, and they themselves are going to pick up the Queen of Pain, probably Smash's hero, and Void Boys will respond with the Tusk. The Queen of Pain and the Tusk are incredibly potent heroes in the right hands, and even though Void Boys don't win game number 1, Snaking had a very good performance on the Queen of Pain in general. His KD was great, his positioning was good, although the last couple of fights were pretty sad for him. The Sonic Wave's always connected onto multiple heroes, and we saw how powerful that amount of burst damage is if you have somebody else to follow up, or somebody else to initiate for you. Either way, Queen of Pain can offer that initial burst of damage, or be cleanup crew. And also still has lane flexibility, even if E-Wolves don't put it in mid and they don't give it to Smash, they could still find a place, a home for this Queen of Pain, whether that's in the off lane or the safe lane. No matter what, just give the Queen of Pain her experience. She'll need it. In response to the Tusk, I think this is a pretty good game to go for something like a Dazzle or a Winter Wyvern, but maybe that's not aggressive enough for E-Wolves. Maybe they pick up the Spirit Breaker here and just go for a lot of the same heroes that Void Boys picked up. Who knows? This is going to be a change of pace for sure, but right now not too much to talk about. The Queen of Pain, Tusk, and Gyrocopter are all very standard picks. The Tusk Gyrocopter combo in and of itself is a mass amount of damage. From Void Boys already, a good amount of control, at least for single target pickoffs, and for E-Wolves you have the Queen. We've kind of already gone over that and seen a lot of the powers of the Queen of Pain in game 1. Inter love the reserve time. Nobody's disconnected. Always something you have to keep in mind when you're dealing, especially South American teams. Sometimes their connection isn't 100%, especially to US East, which is where all of these games are going to be played for the GameShow Global Esports Cup, unless it is 2 South American teams and they decide other ways. But that's a whole another issue entirely, is they will settle on the Winter Wyvern. I was hoping for something crazy. They took so much of the reserve time to just settle on a Winter Wyvern. Winter Wyvern by no means is bad. Is in fact incredibly good against the Tusk. The Cold Embrace stops a lot of Tusk killing potential. Winter's Curse, if Tusk snowballs people in, could end up being disastrous for him and needs to be very careful to work around that Winter Wyvern. There is always that counterplay to the Winter's Curse. If Tusk is able to find an angle where he's on one side of the Winter's Curse, sees a creep on the other side, or just something to snowball there, and can pick up the ally that's getting cursed in the middle of it while he's rolling that snowball. There is always that dream play for him, but until you get Blink, it's a very hard one to pull off, and not incredibly reliable. I think the general case is that Winter Wyvern counters Tusk more than Tusk Snowball counters Winter Wyvern's ultimate. Alchemist will be banned out by Elite Wolves. Yeah. I was going to try and think of something witty to say, or anything really to add on top of that, but Alchemist generally is just considered a hero that, hey, second stage ban, what's it gonna be? Huskar, Brood, Alk? Yeah, I don't want to play against any of those heroes. Just pick one, we'll ban it. And fair enough. E-Wolves, I think, are already pretty well equipped to deal with that Broodmother and the Huskar. Sonic Wave from Queen of Pain, Winter's Curse, incredibly good tools at dealing with them, and with the Queen of Pain Wyvern, Broodmother also can't be 100% safe. I still don't think it takes the option off the table for Void Boys. We might see one of those heroes picked up, but it's something that E-Wolves definitely could punish, and if we do see it, it'll probably be in the 5th pick and not in the 2nd picking stage. Night Stalker will be the ban from Void Boys. Spirit Breaker still available in the pool. Do Void Boys themselves want to pick it up? There's still a lot of questions about how Void Boys are going to lane things, especially with the Tusk. Whether that's going to be a support Tusk or an offlane Tusk, whether he's in a dual lane, whether he's going to be roaming a lot, who knows? For now, Void Boys... Are you just going to go safe? Like a Dazzle? Rubik? Alright, fair enough, Rubik. Rubik Gyrocopter, very potent laning duo. The Telekinesis and Rocket Barrage, usually enough damage for most offlaners to bring them down, even if they have a large amount of HP pool. Gyrocopter really doesn't care all that much. Getting your hands on Queen of Pain's Blink, getting your hands on Winter Wyvern's Kit, absolutely amazing. And I think this is a nice pick to veil Void Boy's intentions with the rest of their draft. Solid early game, decent scaling. I think Void Boys are pretty well equipped here. At least with these first 3 selections. Now, Spirit Breaker picked up by E-Wolves. Nobody should be surprised about this selection. It's a very popular one with the South American teams. E-Wolves, no exception. And will be a nice aggressive engine for them. We saw the Spirit Breaker Queen of Pain not really able to work out for Void Boys in that first game. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that E-Wolves were just so aggressive that it was never the Spirit Breaker and the Queen of Pain to open. And this game, I think Void Boys have a lot of good ways to counter-initiate against the Spirit Breaker and the Queen of Pain, with the Telekinesis from the Rubik being able to cancel Spirit Breaker's charge pretty reliably, and also having the Tusk's defensive snowball. Could definitely tilt the scales back into Void Boys' favor. Yeah, this is such a vanilla draft to start things off. I'm not really sure what Void Boys want to do with their next couple of picks. Mid lane selections that are available. Ember Spirit has been banned. Wind Ranger is an option. And probably one of the safest picks, and one of Snaking's better heroes. Lina isn't bad as well if you want a more Snaking-esque selection here. Combos well with the Rubik and the Tusk to get kills. A lot of burst damage on the targets that are cold embraced. I wouldn't mind that in the slightest. But they have so much flexibility, and they're going to settle on the Earthshaker. That answers nothing. It really does. But it is going to give them a defensive support that can set up for Gyrocopter's damage, but it looks like this is going to be an Earthshaker in the offlane, with the Tusk Rubik being the supporting duo. Or at least that's what I'd expect. They could still switch it up and replace the Earthshaker and Tusk. For the most part, those heroes are interchangeable. Depends on how hard the lane is, and how much experience they think they're going to be able to get out of it. Whoever goes the offlane will have a slightly better time, but not a huge amount, especially if they're against Van Slark. Now, this is a very scary hero for E-Wolves to pick up. Void Boys do not have the burst damage to deal with this Slark unless the Gyrocopter Tusk get ahead. And I think this might bump the Tusk into the offlane role, just so you can get that Walrus Punch as quickly as possible. They're going to need something really smashy, and I think that Lina I was talking about for snaking feels like more and more a mandatory pick for Void Boys. And even then, they might just be a little too defensively postured, where E-Wolves are going to be moving very proactively around the map, going from lane to lane, getting kill to kill, with the Spirit Breaker, Slark, and the Queen of Pain being absolute menaces if they get an early advantage. Wind Ranger will be the ban coming out from E-Wolves. Fair enough. And I think Void Boys picked the Lina here. I could be wrong, though. I feel like a hero like Lina is something that they need, though. They just need a raw amount of burst and a little bit more lockdown. Templar Assassin wouldn't be a bad selection either. She's not going to have anything in the lockdown department for the Queen Pain and the Slark. But it does make up for that in the fact that she just has a lot of damage. Whatever it's going to be, it will be coming up in 20 seconds or less. Sorry about that. Just got myself a little bit of a drink, as Void Boys are going to consider this last pick down to the line. It's going to be a Zeus. Not quite the Lina that I was talking about for Void Boys, but it is going to be a massive amount of magical damage. Lina isn't banned. I'm a little bit surprised that they don't go for that. The benefit over Lina for the Zeus is the fact that he's going to have a lot more global damage, and getting the vision on top of the Slark when you're chasing him is very important with that Zeus ultimate. And still, Zeus tends to be a little bit less mobile than the Lina. Once she gets her farm up, can spam out those dragon slaves to get higher movement speed with the Fiery Soul, and it's going to be a broodmother for E-Wolves. I really don't know how Void Boys deal with this E-Wolves lineup and are able to get map control. That's going to be the hardest thing for them. Of course, later down the line, the Earthshaker might have that Blink Echo Slam Dream on the broodmother, but the laning stage for the brood is going to be pretty chill. Rubik Earthshaker Gyrocopter can kill her off a couple of times. I'm not sure if that's enough to shut down the broodmother's plan overall. And the Queen of Pain Slark should be more than comfortable enough in their lanes with the Winter Wyvern and the Spirit Breaker playing a little bit more of a nomadic role this game, to where I think the E-Wolves draft is just downright better when it comes to the aggression and when it synergizes with the playstyle of the team. A lot of pressure is going to be applied onto snaking on the Zeus to be able to do very well. Another difference between the Zeus and the Lina against the Queen of Pain is the fact that Lina's lane matchup against the Queen is probably a lot better. The killing potential that Zeus has on the Queen is very close to none, although if she gets a little bit cocky and stays in the lane on low amounts of HP, it can happen, but it relies more on Queen of Pain's misplay. I suppose so does the Lina Queen of Pain matchup, but I think that Zeus more so. It's just a lot harder for Seki to be able to pull that off. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Van's going to be playing on his signature Slark, kitted out with that gilded edge. The Winter Wyvern is going to be played by Masoku. Queen of Pain mid by Smash. I'll be Mystico on the Spirit Breaker, and last but not least, just a bit on the Broodmother. The side of Void Boys. Patsoul will be handling the Gyrocopter, snaking on the Zeus. Tusk played by Fly. Wubufu on the Rubik. And Earthshaker by Omega Poner. I think the real big selling point for the Zeus this game is he's much better for catching out the Broodmother and getting that vision, initial vision onto the Brood so he can snowball in, follow up with the Earthshaker Fissure, and bring her down. His wave clear against the spiders is not as impressive though. The Chain Lightning, although okay, is not awesome. Arc Lightning rather. Chain Lightning I think is the Maelstrom passive, I could be wrong. There's so many little lightnings. The early wards plays down, both in the mid lane, or at least one in the mid lane apiece, and one presumably for the off lane. Broodmother is going to place hers down in such a way that it'll probably not get dewarded. I want to say usually a Sentry is going to be mostly focused on the lane, but Tusk is completely kitted out with detection, sentries, and dust already. Zeus will pick up the banner ring, Queen Pain will pick up hers, already open up with the magic wand. Smash seems to be very well equipped to deal with this Zeus lane. But Zeus still hasn't gotten his model fixed. That thing is... I'm just not going to look at Zeus. That bothers me. Crazy polygon thing. Broodmother's getting zoned for now, but has a little bit of help from the Spirit Breaker. This is very unconventional. Broodmother really doesn't like having buddies in her lane. Is going to look for the Sentry Ward. Is going to successfully find it, I think. Tango's the tree, Tango's the ward. And we'll be able to take away that vision from Fly. Secondary Sentry, where's that going to be placed? Probably not anywhere close to that original placement. The Broodmother will be able to soak her XP. Having the Spirit Breaker here is more of a liability early for the Broodmother. Once Spirit Breaker gets 2, I think Just a Bit's just gonna say, you know what, Spirit Breaker, it's been a pleasure having you in this bottom lane, please leave. Go kill the Zeus a couple times, and he might be able to. Zeus is an incredibly immobile mid laner, although you do have the Thunderbolt to cancel the charge, which does make it a little bit more difficult for Spirit Breaker to get that kill. If Snaking's not very careful with this positioning, might be in a little bit of trouble. But right now he's doing well against the Queen of Pain. He's gonna farm well, constantly crowing, constantly having those clarities to keep the Arc Lightnings going. But he's not going to be denying anything away from Smash. Still, Smash is really trading pretty poorly in these damage exchange. It does need to be careful. He knows that Zeus doesn't have a point in his Thunderbolt, but still Smash dropped incredibly low. Gets maximum efficiency out of the salve, I suppose. Charging in. They're going to look for the Zeus. Oh, bashed by the Roshan. Feels bad, Spirit Breaker. Not going to be able to go for that. We're in for a bit of a passive early start to this game. Earthshaker tends to be one of those heroes that does that whenever you play him in the offlane. He just kind of sits back, gets experience under his tower. He's okay, just with everything kind of happening around him. bash onto the Tusk. They're going to be able to telekinesis up this Spirit Breaker. Fly his Ice Shards and Snowball. Ice Shards are going to be pretty much on the money. Trying to charge away. He is going to be able to get the Snowball. Maybe. No, not going to happen. Spirit Breaker is down further into the lane. The Gyrocopter is going to collapse onto this. This could very well be first blood for Void Boys. The Rocket Brush is there, mostly absorbed by just a bit. The right click damage will be enough. Rubik gets it. Wabufu gets first blood by killing off Mystico. E-Wolves are going to be a little bit on the back foot after that first kill. But still, the Slark is pretty farming. And I wouldn't have expected any less from Van in a 1v0 lane. Lane pushing back under him. He should be able to get all of these under the tower compared to the Gyrocopter. He's still not farming poorly, but Van will have a slight edge since he doesn't have to deal with this Brood, this Spirit Breaker being down this bottom area. The Broodmother for now is going to start things off slow, but once Broodmother starts getting momentum, the Tusk and the Rubik just can't stand up against that. Rubik can telekinesis and hope. He's just so squishy though. Fubufu is slightly out of position. We'll pre-hit the shots for the Gyrocopter and secure most of the last hits under the tower. Really, this is quite a passive start that isn't going to be favoring much of anybody outside of the Rubik with that first blood. A slight advantage for Void Boys. Only slight though. 750 net worth in their advantage. Traded for the 300 experience the E-Wolves are getting better than them. Yeah, I don't think that matters much. Blinking in mid, snaking a lot of trouble. The right click damage, he is going to be able to bottle through this, and Smash is not going to commit for that. He doesn't have a short enough cooldown on the blink. They won't be able to get that kill, but they force out a TP rotation. They force the Zeus away from the lane. His Queen of Pain is now going to start feeling a lot more comfortable in this laning matchup, and can start to pick up an advantage, even though for now it's been very even. Zeus is going to have a full level behind the Queen of Pain, or close to a full level. Maybe not entirely. But Queen of Pain is definitely going to get level 6 faster than the Zeus, unless something crazy happens. Rune going to be secured by the Queen of Pain, now charging into Omega Poner. He doesn't have a fissure to cancel that charge. The Thunderbolt we've thrown the way of Smash. Now Omega Poner is going to die. The charge is going to switch focus onto the Zeus. Again, just hasn't the Thunderbolt to be able to cancel that. And with the bash, I don't think there's a way that Snaking gets out of here. He has the Rubik to get a return kill. Smash dropping low to the Ancient, survives at about 20 HP. Telekinesis is going to pull back the Spirit Breaker. Smash is going to retreat towards the north and blink out to safety as they look to chase down the Spirit Breaker. Nice Ice Shards, looking for the neutral deny. Mystico, Black Dragons, gonna be killed by the Rubik. Second kill for the team. For Void Boy is going to be secured by Wabufu. In the absence of the supports, Broodmother is going to start making up a little bit more of her army in the bottom lane. Level 4 Broodmother is going to hit that scary part. At least for Void Boys very soon. Still, the Gyrocopter is fairly well equipped to deal with the Spiderlings. They're able to get on top of him and stun up the Broodmother. Could still very easily get that kill. Again, it's a situation, though, where we're seeing an offlane Earthshaker just not able to get that much momentum. Level 2, he's getting a little bit of experience now that the lane's pushing in, but since the lane's pushing in, Spirit Breaker's going to go for the charge. A little Sonic Wave in mid lane. They're going to throw that out, but with 3 enemy heroes around, can Smash survive? Blink in 1 second, can't get it off. And he's going to go down. Back to the Earthshaker. They're going to charge forward to make opponent turns for the fissure, going to clip onto Van. He is going to chase forward. They're going to get a couple more auto attacks. They don't get the bash. Do they need it? They'll get that return kill, but not worth it for Smash's life. The Spirit Breaker is so low. The Zeus? Not 6 yet, and it looks like he's not going to get it, although he's walking towards this top area. He thought about it, but is going to think better of it. They're salving up the Spirit Breaker, so it wouldn't have been lethal either way. Van really dropping very low after that last fight up towards top, but this Slark has a lot of gold. That's going to be a Shadow Amulet in bottle. Interesting. I thought that would be a Hand of Midas for him since he was pulling up so much gold. This is going to be a very fast Shadow Blade for him. Interesting that he doesn't pick up the boots or anything beforehand. Ben right now is limping back towards his base, but no, Broodmother's starting to get that momentum with the spiders. They need to deal with just a bit. And more than just keeping vision. The Flat Cannon might be able to secure a lot of CS for this Gyrocopter. The Ice Shards fly through, get a couple more, and more Flat Cannon shots. And Broodmother does need to be cognizant of how many spiders she is feeding away. It does give a lot of gold, or at least it adds up over time. Individually, the spiders aren't that impressive. And compared to the lane creeps, they're not nearly as much, but starting to feed 10s, 20s of spiders, each one of those goes. If you have a large army, things can get awkward for you. Spirit Breaker has a very deep angle for the Zeus. Are they going to go for the full-on dive onto Snaking? He has his ultimate. He has the mana to cancel his charge, and I'm not really sure if the Spirit Breaker is going to be able to find what he wants to here. Hiding in the large camp. Spirit Breaker might be bumping into the Tusk here. Fly? Spirit Breaker is going to charge through. Surprise! They're going for the Gyrocopter. The Gyrocopter's going to be able to mop up that spider army. Salving up, it looks like he's going to be fine, especially if the Rubik cancel his charge. They should know that it's happening, and Spirit Breaker is going to cancel it of his own volition. Doesn't really want to get involved there. A close call for the Gyrocopter. Again, they just don't have the damage yet. But Broodmother farms. 19 and 6. Compared to the Earthshaker, she's getting so much more. Doubling up his levels, and 5 times more CS than the Shaker. This early game is acceptable for E-Wolves. Even though the kills are annoying for them, they're still farming a little bit better. And Van, this is going to be a very fast Shadow Blade. Lots of pings down the bottom lane, coming out from the Rubik. The flat cannon is going to fly, but they have a lot of spiders now up for this Gyrocopter. More flat cannon shots are going to be let loose. He has 1 remaining, but charging forward, Patzel in a lot of trouble to open up with the injection. Blink and Smash is going to Sonic Wave him to oblivion, and now chasing forward Bufu. This Rubik is going to try to run away from the spider army, slowed down to 312 movement speed. That's more than enough to be able to get this kill, I want to say, and they will be able to turn him into a spider of their own, adding him to the Broodmother's army. Void Boys now running away with the Tusk and the Zeus. 2 clean kills for E-Wolves after Smash's first major rotation. Level 8 compared to the level 7 Zeus. By no means is Zeus upset with how he's doing. And, well, right now I think he is kind of missing a face. But if we ignore that, Zeus is still able to contribute quite a lot to the team. It's just that his rotations aren't going to be as impressive. While statically sitting in the lane, if it's both the Queen of Pain and the Zeus to be mid, then maybe the Zeus has a slight advantage with that Thunder God's Wrath. But Void Boys just have such a passive early game selection of heroes where they're not able to make the rotations happen nearly as convincingly as E-Wolves. And once this Slark picks up his Shadow Blade, it really is going to ramp up the aggression. Is Van going to go for this Shadow Blade without having boots, I wonder? It looks like he is. He has the Claymore Gold, and he's going to be flying that out now. Boots with Shadow Blade, sure. I think probably getting those brand boots will help the Shadow Blade's effectiveness, but just catching him off guard with a much faster pickup of it might be enough for to even be able to pick off the Gyrocopter. Broodmother fanning out her spiders is going to open up into Omega Poner. Another injection. Omega Poner is going to survive here. Not too comfortably, though. Charging forward. They don't have Snowball mana. And with the charge, Omega Poner is going to get bashed down by the Spirit Breaker, now looking for Fly. Not going to find that first hit bash. We'll apply the Orb of Venom. Not going to be enough to get that kill, but E-Wolves are starting to get an early edge. This is a sub 10 minute Shadow Blade from the Slark. Granted, it is a Shadow Blade with just Bottle Stout Shield, not too much on top of the Invis Blade. But even without having boots, he's moving at 457 movement speed inside the Shadow Dance. That's pretty terrifying. And I doubt you the Rubik actually expects there to be a Shadow Bladed Slark here. Winter Wyvern's there. Do they open up the Gyrocopter? Do they open up to the Rubik? They're going to make the call to go into the Gyro. They have the pounce. They have the Dark Pack. The damage is there. Patzel dropping low. Turns for the call down. Is going to drop Van low, but that's just how Slark likes it. He'll slip into the shadows and heal up in the meantime. They have a Zeus ultimate. They want to fight here. If they're able to get the Bolt and ult, could very easily net them some kills, but they don't quite have the mana for both of those. Queen of Pain has a Sonic Wave. She's itching uses. They go for snaking. They're going to call their bluff. Little Sonic Wave over the top, and the Snowball's just too late. Or is it? He's able to turn with the ultimate, but still the right-click damage is going to secure the double kill for Smash. Another strike on the fly. He's going to turn around with very little HP and won't even die for it. 10-3, and this is going from bad to worse. Also, Broodmother. Bottom lane, pushing out your tower. The Gyrocopter's here, but he has no call down. We'll be able to mop up some of the spiders, but once the Black Cannon shots have expired, Gyrocopter can't deal with this Brood, and she's getting a lot of space. Earthshaker is going to get collapsed upon. He's going to throw the Fissure as he does spot out some of those spiders, but Van is in hot pursuit. Going to pop the ultimate to try and get in range. 396 movement speed. He's committing deep under the tower. He's going to purge up that stun, but now Van needs to retreat right into the Gyrocopter. Call down Rocket Barrage. It looks like Van might have overextended. Juking through the trees is going to go down. That was very ambitious of the Slark to go for the tier 2 tower dive onto Omega Poner. I think that was probably a little too much. E-Wolves potentially getting ahead of themselves, but are still at an advantageous position inside this game with about a 5,000 net worth lead and 4,000 experience lead that has been pared down after that one Slark death. It is a fragile advantage. 1 or 2 more of those and Van won't be seeing an advantage over the Gyrocopter at all. In fact, right now his lead is hardly all that impressive. But charging in the bottom lane, Spirit Breaker has another strike cooling down in 12 seconds. This Broodmother really doesn't need a lot of help, but with the assistance from the Spirit Breaker, they might even be able to get this Gyro. She doesn't have the hugest army, just a handful of spiders, but she does have a good amount of nukes. Spirit Breaker is going to cancel that charge. They've been spotted by a lane ward, and Spirit Breaker is going to get that D ward instantly. That just makes it a lot harder for Void Boys to play this game, not knowing when the Spirit Breaker is going for a charge in the bottom area of the map. In fact, they are blind. Not a single ward outside of the one that's in mid that's about to expire soon anyway. Charging through, they're going to look towards the mid area. They're going on to fly, though in the pass by, maybe catch out snaking. Nice fissure is going to delay. Earthshaker's going to try to waddle in for the Echo Slam. He doesn't have the mana, looking for the enchant totem, not going to connect. His snaking falls. Queen of Pain with the Shadow Strike will be able to get that kill, and now they're a little bit isolated inside the river. What an awkward time for the Earthshaker just not to have the mana. Charging through, they're going to jump onto the gyrocopter. He's already so low after the Broodmother had her way. Drops the call down, but Patzel will die to one more auto attack. The call down's going to drop the Spirit Breaker low. The injection from the spiders is pretty big. Van trying to run away. Echo Slam, Snowball, Van will die. But the Broodmother is still here, and so is Smash. Sonic Wave, double kill for Smash. And Fly will get the Walrus Punch on the Spirit Breaker, but can he get the kill? No. 5-man wipe. E-Wolves only lose their Slark. Van is getting a little bit ahead of himself. He is dying a couple of times, but it doesn't matter with how far ahead E-Wolves are. And in any situation, a 1-for-5 exchange, unless it's super late game and that's your only farmed carry that you need in order to win the game and they just die back, it's going to be beneficial for you. And that's not the situation. That's almost a 2,000 gold swing, 2,000 experience swing. The way of E-Wolves a little bit less, but inside that ballpark, especially after the tower falls. This is a BKB rush from Smash. He wants to fight. 10, 1, and 2. Smash does not need any aggressive items to be able to find these kills. But maybe Masoku in a bit of trouble here. The Winter Wyvern is going to bump into Snaking with the bolts thrown out and the Ice Shards too, walling him off. The Winter Wyvern will fall. 6 to 15. Void Boys get something in return. And a D-ward to boot. That's why the Winter Wyvern was so deep behind enemy lines. And it is going to be punished. But still, take a look at the net worth chart. The top 4, at least for a little bit there, from E-Wolves were sitting over the entire team of Void Boys. And the Spirit Breaker is... Oh, Van! Gets blown sky high. Sorry for missing that one. With the maxed out Ice Shards, with the bolts coming out from the Zeus, it's just way too much damage for Van, who has no strength items. After such a quick Shadow Blade, the Slark has really lost a lot of momentum, maybe playing a tad too aggressively. By no means does that lose them the game, or even get close to it. But it is going to give Void Boys a lot better of a chance compared to if this Slark played a little bit more passively. If he went for the Midas first, maybe that works out better for him this game. I don't know. Van is by far a much better Slark player than I am, so who knows? It's one of those situations where maybe in hindsight he would have rather gone for something other than the Shadow Blade Rush, but he got it so quickly that it's hard to stop that. Call down is going to be thrown. Doesn't really connect onto anything. 10-second BKB by the Queen of Pain. They just can't touch Smash. Wabufu is going to get dropped low. The Zeus Ultimate committed. The Spirit Breaker might fall. They'll throw the bolts away of Van, but Snaky is just dropping. Get his essence stolen out of his nose, and Van will be able to get that kill. Dies to a tower shot, but Smash is beyond godlike. 15 minutes into this game. 12, 1, and 3. Smash is playing out of his mind. Once you pop that BKB, there's just nothing Void Boys can do. Their physical damage is next to nothing. The Gyrocopter, even though later can scale into some physical damage, isn't doing anything now. And also back to Broodmother's lane. They haven't been able to, or they haven't needed to fight with the Broodmother. When they're fighting in this bottom half of the map, just a bit is going to contribute with those nukes. But they take a tier 2 tower on top of already a pretty good fight. If Slark escapes there, that's just salt in the wound. And it looks like Slark is going to back up for those power treads of the Magic Wand now. 19-9, it's looking like E-Wolves again are just getting way too much control on this map. A lot of it comes down to the draft. This Earthshaker in the offlane, I don't think it's had the impact that Void Boys really want him to, especially if the Broodmother's able to snipe him. Oh, Midas is creep, and no look to hunt for Omega Pona. Run, Earthshaker, run! The spawn Spiderlings would probably be lethal there, if not lethal, very close to it. But Broodmother is going to be evaded for now. Midas is going to be the pickup from the Brood, but she catches eyes on this Gyrocopter, and Patzel is alone. They're looking for a fight up towards top lane. Glimmer Cape away by the Spirit Breaker. Ice Shard's going to wall him off. The Spirit Breaker might be in a little bit of trouble. But right now, Void Boys are so split, and they have to be. If you leave the Broodmother alone, she's just going to take your high ground, and you can't go in there alone. You need some backup, and well, Void Boys also have to deal with the other heroes in this game that aren't Broodmother. E-Wolves are much better equipped to fight 4 versus 5 than Void Boys. Charging forward onto this Gyrocopter, probably going to be cancelled by the Spirit Breaker. Yeah, he's not going to go for that. But the Slark has his treads. The Midas, already on the Broodmother, has a completed Vladimir's offering flying out, I want to say, on the Courier. With his Vlads, they could go Roshan. E-Wolves, they have slowed down a little bit. Smash is going to be working towards his Orchid next, but considering he went for BKB first, this is going to be a stupidly fast Orchid. He's almost doubling up the Zeus when it comes to net worth. Snowballing behind enemy lines. They are going to be able to catch out Van, wasting his ultimate time. Can Van pants out of here alive? He'll get up to the high ground. They have Dust. They have the ultimate with the Zeus to catch Vision, but Smash is just going out of the back lines and ripping apart the lines coming out from Void Boys. The BKB TP, he's going to survive. The Spirit Breaker gets the Earthshaker. Can he get out alive? I don't think so, but it's probably worth it to make that play. He has some stick charges that probably wouldn't give him enough mana just buy the air and buy the TP. Glimmer Capes doesn't have enough mana for the TP. They'll have to spend Dust for that. Definitely worth it for him to make that after all is said and done. A little bit of gold for Void Boys, but not much. That was supposed to be their kill on Van, but a really well-placed pounce, and even more importantly, the Queen of Pain coming in with that BKB Sonic Wave. The downside for Smash going for such an early BKB is that this is going to get very low in duration very quickly. He's already used his 10-second and 9-second charges, but with how these fights are going, I'm not sure if he needs much more than just that 5 seconds in order to be able to do his business inside the fights. They're over so quickly with the amount of burst from Ewolves. Van is going to be hugged by the Winter Wyvern, and now they're going to go into the Roshan. Finish it up, rather, as they were just tanking through with that cold embrace. With the incapacitating bite only level 1, they're hardly taking any damage, and Aegis is now in the hands of Van. This will complement his aggressive playstyle. Void Boys just have to play reactionary Dota, and that's really not the best way to approach the game, especially when you're dealing with a Brood Mother. You never want to be having to deal with the Brood. You want to kill off the Brood so many times that she's not a factor on the map, and she's not making space. They'll throw a bolt, they're going to catch eyes on a lot of these spiders, but won't catch the big mommy. And Ewolves are going to be fine to just back off. 21 and 10, they're farming in top, they're farming in mid, whereas Void Boys have to group up as 5. If they're not as 5, they'll just get picked apart. Ewolves win the war of attrition, even though in theory, a late game Gyrocopter is terrifying. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to that point for Petzl. Tier 1 tower in the top lane is going to be pressured by the Queen of Pain, who almost has her Orchid. That's where Ewolves will probably pick up the aggression again. 8-second BKB, fresh Orchid up on the Queen of Pain. It's amazing how much farm Smash is getting. Van is probably going to lose his Aegis here. I don't know. Ice Shards. Van's going to take it with the Snowball. Or rather, Fly's going to take the Aegis away from Van with the Snowball. But Van now might be able to look for round 2. An Ob Sentry duo. Van knows that he's been scouted. They're charging forward with the Spirit Breaker. Gyrocopters from the north. This is a dangerous fight for both of these teams to take, and the Spirit Breaker is going to cancel his charge. But in the meantime, yeah, Queen of Pain is just casually pushing away up towards top lane. You might be able to stop the Brood. You can't stop everything from Ewolves. Something is going their way. They're always getting a better exchange when it comes to map vision. Omega Poner. The Spirit Breaker's coming in hot. He's going to think better of it. It's way too deep. They're not even going to throw the fissure. They know that he's canceled the charge. And everything will slow down, but this tier 2 tower is still taking huge amounts of damage. Cold Embrace onto the Illusion, not going to be able to keep that alive. The Gyrocopter mops up the creep wave that was there, but now the Orchid's delivered. Or as Smash TP's back towards base. And they're ready to go for round number 2. Spirit Breaker is going to die to the Tusk. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where I was looking there. That's my bad. Even with the Glimmer Cape, just way too much magic burst damage coming out from Void Boys for the Spirit Breaker to go in solo. That doesn't slow down Ewolves that much, though. The Brood Mother is able to continuously farm. The Queen of Pain also. And Van, even though he has died a couple of times, now is going to get some blood in his hands. Snaking a lot of trouble. He's going to get opened up onto. He's going to chain down the ground. No way to survive. They don't have a way to cancel Fly's CP except for raw damage. And with the DD rune, Van's going to be able to kill him off. With the gem on the Slark, the map control from Void Boys is not existent. They see nothing until Smash jumps right on top of you. Sonic Wave, Omega Partner will pop. And beyond godlike, this Queen of Pain can just not be stopped. 12,000 net worth at 20 minutes into the game. That is insane. Especially when you're looking at the Gyrocopter and the Zeus's inventory. They have about 6,000 net worth apiece. Queen of Pain is handily out-farming both of them. And has teammates to back her up too. Even if you take off the Queen of Pain, remove Queen of Pain from this game, I think you will still have a fighting chance if you replace her with another support, maybe, just to make it so where it's even numbers. But if you take away Queen of Pain's net worth, there you go. They still have a fighting chance. But they're taking all of the tier 2s. Void Boys do not have a map anymore. The only place it is safe is under their tier 3s. And even then, you might just get dove, so if you want to not die, stay in the fountain, but that's not going to win you the game either. Void Boys need to shake something up fast. There's a BKB on this Slark. There's a Blink Dagger on this Winter Wyvern, for Pete's sake. The supports are also getting the items that they need. And Ewolves can probably just waltz up high ground and take it, I want to say. Or they can back up and farm. There is no pressure on Ewolves. All of the pressure is on Void Boys. And for them to make a comeback this game, I want to say they kind of need a Blink Dagger on this Earthshaker. Blink Echo might just be the oomph that they need to turn around a fight, even with ridiculous odds. Almost a 20,000 net worth advantage for E-Wolves, and experience not looking too much better. They'll drop the Zeus ultimate for scouting, but the Queen of Pain's still around the corner. They'll fissure up Smash. Echo Slam is going to be dodged by the BKB. Now the Winter's Curse onto Omega Poner, and the Earthshaker will fall. Beyond Godlike Smash is really burning through those BKB charges very quickly. But every time he uses it, it gets him a kill and wins them the fight. Down to 7 seconds now. He still has more than enough duration to be comfortable. And on top of that, Orchid BKB has 2,500 gold in the bank. If you just had the Orchid and the 2,500 gold, Queen of Pain is not super sad this game relative to the Gyrocopter and the Zeus. They're just getting split pushed. They think about Nether Striking. Spirit Breaker is going to think better of it. E-Wolves still have complete control, and Void Boys have none. The Broodmother is going to push down towards bottom lane as they dive in this Gyrocopter, pounces down on the deck, and the Gyrocopter pops his BKB and tries to fight. There is just not a way out of this alive. Broodmother will bring him down, charging onto Ubufu. The Rubik is going to be dropped, snaking to, and they'll call it GG. A 2-0 for E-Wolves. And the execution across the board from E-Wolves has been on point. Smash looking solid. First game, Ember Spirit. Second game, Queen of Pain. And a lot of this comes down to the draft. They were just not prepared for this Broodmother. Every once in a while, you just have this draft where a 5th pick Brood completely messes up the game plan. This is kind of one of those. But even without the Broodmother, I think E-Wolves would have done fine. Smash on the Queen of Pain, Van on the Slark. It's another situation where E-Wolves are in their comfort zone. And Void Boys, through their play and through their drafting, are not able to take them out of that comfort zone. E-Wolves are going to be finishing first in their group of the American region of the group stage. Number 2 in the Global Esports Cup. Both of these teams, however, are going to qualify for the playoffs to battle for a spot in the LAN in Vilnius. We'll have to see who wins there. E-Wolves and Void Boys have a long road ahead of them, but E-Wolves are looking solid. Thanks for tuning in to the GameShow Global Esports Cup here on GameShow_D2N. I've been GrandisV, and if you like the casting, follow me at Twitter at GrandisV. If you didn't, well, I'm just glad that you were able to tune into these games. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us. See you later, guys.